Hello, welcome to the Roundhouse podcast with Paul Sulentrop of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. Thanks so much for listening. Our guests today are Associate Head Coach Ashleigh Houlton. She is in her fifth season with Wichita State Volleyball. And Assistant Coach Katie Zimmerman, who is also in her fifth season with Coach Chris Lamb. Katie, of course, played volleyball for the Shockers from 2012 to 15. They join us to preview the 2026 season, which gets started this weekend at Koch Arena. Shockers 19-11 last season, 10-6 in the American. They are picked fourth in the conference preseason poll. Setter Jordan Hetherly is on the all-conference team. Shockers open up 6 p.m. Friday against Stephen F. Austin. They play Idaho State at 6 p.m. Saturday and Missouri State at noon on Sunday. Ashleigh, let's start with the two scrimmages. The Shockers scrimmaged at Omaha earlier this month, played the University of Missouri Kansas City at home on Saturday. What did you learn from those two exhibitions?
Well, I mean, exhibitions are great because you get to work out kinks without it affecting your record, but I think we were overall satisfied in where we're at this phase of the season. Lambeau is not really ever satisfied with just potential for finding points elsewhere, and so there's he's written up a bunch of wheels since then. But I think it was good for us to see how the girls would operate under pressure in a true situation, and they handled it well for the most part. You have to be willing to ad-lib at any point, and against UMKC, he would have kept playing for 10 sets if we let him. He literally just kept adding on more and more sets, but the girls just did a good job of rolling with it and adjusting to whatever system we put them in. So it was good. I think it was a very positive start.
Mm-hmm. Katie, how much of those type of exhibitions is scripted, and how much are you adjusting on the fly, as Ashleigh just mentioned?
Well, we try and talk about it as a staff prior to, because sometimes he's very much we're going to do a different lineup each set. We're really going to explore. This year we were trying to prep more of like it was going to be this weekend. We're going to win this match kind of vibe. We're not just going to have a tryout kind of thing. And this last one against UMKC, we ended up getting to do both. Our starters, who would have been our lineup at that point, did great, and then we got to throw in a lot of different people, so that was nice to kind of have both. We had a strategic plan, but then we got to be flexible, and a lot of people got to showcase their stuff, especially in front of our home crowd. A lot of people are new, so I think it's really fun stepping on the court in front of people that we go to other places and there's not really that many fans. So even if it was just an exhibition, I think it's important that people got their feet wet a little bit.
So for years, Chris Lamb, he will talk about using two setters, hasn't really gone to the 6-2. I was trying to think back, but it's been a long time since he's really done a real 6-2 and committed to it. Am I remembering that right, Katie?
Fully committed.
Yeah, because last year we were in and out of it. But then, I don't know when. I know Jody Larson set for a little bit and hit, so that would have been a 6. That was 2017 maybe, 2016. But I'm not sure.
That is a great memory. Jody Larson as setter. I totally forgot about that. Yes, and then that got brought up at some point. So we're talking about it again because of Jordan Hetherly, and freshman Addie Oath has really made a great impression in her time here. Katie, why might the 6-2 fit this team?
Great question. We have a lot of point scoring possibilities. I feel like we could put it that way. And we are trying to manage a way that we can get the most scoring out of our offense. So certain things provide more strengths. If we were in a 5, that's one less attacker, but generally someone in the middle has to go behind, and our middles, their strengths are in front right now. So there's a lot of different reasons. If it can pass well, there's 3 hitters at all times in the front row. So currently that's where we're at. We shall see how when there's a real opponent on the other side and pressure comes, there's obviously more experienced players, and it could be easy to shift back into the 5 if we need to, but I think yes, that's what we've been working on, and that is hopefully our highest potential at the moment.
Ashleigh, this might be a good opportunity. Explain to people what are some of the essential differences between the 6'2" and the 5'1", and people who come out this weekend, what should they be watching?
Well, it gives you different looks in serve receive, certainly. It gives you more arms in the front row on a consistent basis, and like Katie said,
because the setter doesn't rotate to the front,
right? And so one thing that we haven't really had is a lot of scoring behind the setter from like an M1 Morgan Stout type player, and so to really be effective in that type of system, you really have to have somebody that can score gap to pin and be really efficient in that way. So, but Katie's right. I mean, we have a lot of scoring potential, and Lambeau is like the king of taking kids and molding them into something that could fit some type of system. Like, I think that's his gift. Is I think a lot of programs, it's like, this is their system, and if you don't fit it, it's like jamming a square peg into a round hole. But he's just going to build an entire new, system so that people fit in the slots that they should fit into. So.
Okay, so that will be something to watch. Jordan Heatherly, she's in her second season with the Shockers after transferring from Memphis. Katie, how has Jordan progressed simply by she's going through this system for the second time?
Mm-hmm. Well, one, she's just the most fabulous human ever. Like, we're so grateful that she's on our team. She's a leader on our team. She's obviously a very good setter as well, but she's the type of person who brings like all of the other things as well, right? Like, you want her on the court obviously to set and to do her job, but the other things that she brings, the energy, bringing people together, like the confidence in others, that's you need that in a setter, right? Mm-hmm. I think the second go round, she grew up in a coaching family. She's like always been around the game, but we do run a lot of things differently than other programs. So I think just being able to go with the flow, literally say like, okay, and then go execute it. So hopefully she is definitely more comfortable in that. And I love that she's up for whatever the team needs. Like, even for her, changing from a 5'1" to a 6'2", right? Mm-hmm. A 5'1" with her, she never comes off the court. Whereas this, like, Adioth comes in, she goes out. And so that is an adjustment as well. Just like as a senior, you would expect that person, right, wants to play, and she is willing to do anything to get us to win. And right now, we think that that's our best option. So, once again, her just like leadership and selflessness in that, I think, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Ashleigh, so we talked about freshman Adioth. She's off to a very good start. She was here in the spring, correct?
Yes.
Comes from a huge volleyball family. Her mother, Megan, played middle for Texas and Wisconsin. She coaches. Her dad, Justin, played at Wisconsin Milwaukee. Coming from a big volleyball family, how has that helped Addie make this, what appears to be a pretty quick transition to college?
Yeah, well, like when Dave Rubio came in, he he was the head coach at Arizona for a million years, but he was the one that like worked with their setters. So, and he was really impressed with Addie. She definitely carries herself with some maturity. Like she runs that position with maturity. She doesn't necessarily look like a freshman. And yeah, like her mom coached her for a long time. Her mom is amazing and I think did a really good job with Addie. So she definitely came in with a good set of tools to be pretty successful pretty early on. And she's very coachable too, so she's a good fit here for sure.
So most teams are in a good mood during preseason practices. And Katie, you were telling me yesterday you think that supportive teamwork spirit will be crucial for the Shockers. Why do you think that atmosphere will be a strength this fall?
Well, multiple people who walk into our gym, I think they compliment the girls on their, energy, their not work ethic, but like the ability to work together and like figure things out, and we're huge on that. Why I think it's super necessary. A lot of people are doing new roles and they have the ability to succeed in those roles, but it's not like we already have like, oh, this is the standout in the American Conference. It's not like we have for first team all conference kids. Yeah, it's possible, but like we're going to need the other things to be very, very good and not distract us from volleyball, which like any team has distractions. And so the point of being united and being together and like making sure all the little things add up will just make us better at the volleyball piece. And we need to be as obviously elite as we can. So yeah, I think it's important, and I think they're doing obviously a great job of that prior to any matches or real lineups being thrown out. But we definitely are talking about that in our gym a lot.
And how much of that is related to, this is a very tough non-conference schedule. I think it's fair to say there's going to be some challenges. Ashleigh, how do you keep that good vibe going maybe when things get difficult?
Well, I think a lot of that comes from like work put in when things aren't difficult, right? So like the spring and obviously preseason. I think it helps that they spend a lot of time with each other away from the court, so they have a good foundation of a relationship that extends beyond, like battling for playing time. And I think they understand too, like on the very first day of practice, Lambeau was telling them that like from 1 to 18, we definitely have, and I think we both agree, like we have a very deep roster. We have a lot of girls that can play. It doesn't fall off. And in the past, it's kind of fallen off a little bit. But just like encourage the girls that the 1 through 8 needs to be at the top of the conference. And so them understanding, like Katie said, not allowing things to distract them. And yeah.
I also like Lambeau does a good job of, he doesn't really die on many hills, like in a match. Like when we play KU, right, there are going to be some things that they're better at than us, and there's going to be things that we're better at than them, right? And so, like, regardless of the result of a match, he's very much, like, forward-driven.
Yes.
Like, we will talk about what went well, what we need to improve on, but it's not, like, in non-con, yeah, we need to win. Winning matters. But we also are looking at the, like, longevity of the season and, like, how can we be our best at the end, in conference play, in conference tournament. And he does a better job than me at that because I would like to die on every game hill, but I think that's important. And our girls, I think, then can take a breather and not be so distraught when stuff gets tough.
Well, 2 years ago, was it 2? We had, like, the number 7 most difficult non-con. I mean, that was really fun, but it was brutal.
Yeah.
And Katie's right. Like, there's been times early on where we would go into the locker room and I would be fired up. Like, I would love to yell at somebody. That was, and he is very forward thinking. And I actually think that his ability to look at the game through that lens is what made it so that we were all still so bought in come November at the conference tournament because, yeah, he was just like, this is why we put the schedule together, and it built some grittiness for sure.
There's definitely a foundation of Chris Lamb is you're going to play a tough non-conference schedule, and it's
Yeah.
paid off so many times with at-large bids and paid off with, as you were talking about, Katie, getting better for the conference season and all that kind of stuff. So Carl Ferreira, he's the former head coach, current mental training coach. He was in the gym watching the Shockers. You mentioned former Arizona coach Dave Rubio was here earlier in the fall. So I always describe this group as kind of Lambeau's volleyball think tank. Describe this group of coaches and their importance to Chris. They're texting, they're calling, they're visiting. How's this thing work, and why does it matter so much?
These are his besties. These are his ride or
You
dies.
wouldn't believe how much he talks to them.
Every day he's on the phone with one of them. But I think the difference, I don't know, between even like a young coach now, like me for example, but these are people who he would say like they grinded in the gym together. Like they literally would just get in any gym, learn from anyone, and like they truly grew the game of volleyball. From like they could see differences, what it was like then and what it's like now. And so I think just that like over time they've built that relationship. But it's been so fun hearing their feedback on our team because they are all very different thinkers. Their personalities are so different, but they respect each other so much. And our girls obviously have a great respect for Lambo, so any of his friends, they have a great respect for them. And so it's just really fun to get other people's perspective who have done this at a very high level and, contributed to our team. But they're definitely an interesting unit. They're close.
Yeah, if you were to guess when Chris's phone rings, if you were to guess it's Rubio, you would probably be right most of the time. Ashleigh, what's your observation on this group?
I knew some of them well before I knew Lambo, and Katie's right, they could not be more different. I mean, like, Carl and Lambo are the complete opposite, Dave and Lambo. But I think the thing too, like, one thing I've learned from Lambo himself is how to disagree with people and still have a very close relationship. Those guys, like, they definitely have an inner circle, and then there's kind of an outer circle to them, but that inner circle, like, they have this group chat, they talk all the time. They definitely don't agree on everything, and they probably some days disagree more than they would agree, but they do it in such a, like, in a way that I think a lot of people could learn from how they navigate that. And they're like the best friends that could possibly be. Yeah.
The observation that they grinded together, I'm sure, in small gyms and driving and not getting paid very much money.
Totally.
And working with kids that will, never play college volleyball. And they love that. And that really describes Chris Lamb in a lot of ways. Reminds me of, if you're a fan of the TV show Justified, they dug coal together. Those kind of experiences where you grow up together and get through difficult times. Definitely. Okay, let's go through this team kind of position by position. I guess this is the time to mention the injuries have definitely shaped this roster. Sydney Dunning, who was a very good player for the Shockers last season, is out. And then two newcomers who I think would have played important roles, Nia Lewis and Trinity Luckett. They all got injured in the spring. Let's start with the littles. Libero DS should be a really strong spot for the Shockers. Gabby Moss and Grace Head are both back. Bree Martin is a freshman from Bishop Carroll. Ashleigh, take us through the littles and their performances so far this fall.
Well, I think the littles are always like a pretty special group for us. You have to be pretty selfless in that position. And they do a good job of supporting each other, too. They kind of have their own mini culture, I think, that other littles have really helped build that. Gabby's great. She's been playing volleyball for a long time, and it's good to have just an older human out there. She reads well. She knows what's going on. She understands our systems. And, she's really refined what leadership looks like for her in her last year. And Grace Head. She's great. I think she's a lot like Jordan, maybe a little rougher around the edges because she's a farm kid. And but she has like the greatest work ethic. She's a phenomenal teammate, and she's really talented. And she I think is going into this season as like the number 4 passer in the country based on last year's stats. She's just really exceptional at controlling the ball and serve receive. And Bree, I've worked with Bree a lot in club for several years. She's just a talented kid that she's fast as heck. And she just, I think, is definitely drinking out of a fire hose right now, but she'll come along just like every other little has. And so, they're a good group, but Lambo said today in the gym, he thinks that we have 2 littles with Grace and Gabby that should be at the very top of our conference, and I agree, so that should definitely help us in the system that we're working in.
Have they handed out the goggles? Are they still doing the goggles ceremony?
Yeah, so there's like you have to get through certain things to earn your goggles, but they definitely still do that. So
okay, that's a fun little tradition at Wichita State. Katie, let's go to the middles. Maddie Wilson and Allie Paulson are back. I've heard a lot of good things about freshman Sophia Gilbert, Eva Krakowski. Am I pronouncing that right? Eva Krakowski. Yep. I thought I got Krakowski wrong, but I got the first name wrong. Okay. Alex Watts are transfer newcomers. Katie, take us through that spot.
Yeah, so one thing Lambo does is switch people's positions, which is great, and he sees their ceiling. So, like last year, Janiyah and Eleanor were also, listed as middles. They have kind of transitioned to more of the opposite role. With that, we added a few more middle blockers, and we were recruiting with, slides in mind, trying to go behind the setter off of 1 foot. So I would say that's some of their strengths. The 3 newbies, and continuing to work on that and trying to fit that into our system. But yeah, I think we have some depth there, which is awesome. They are working very hard. They're always getting different things thrown at them. Like one day, this is our system. The next day, this is our system. And that's just part of volleyball here at Wichita State, but I think specifically the middles, they're really being asked to focus on different things. So I think our fans will see a lot of Sophia Gilbert early on, and hopefully throughout, but she's a workhorse. I think that is motivating to watch, right? You kind of like want that for someone who you can just tell is firing and kind of burning hot, and she's just fun. She celebrates well. All of our girls are fun, but I think that they'll notice her for sure.
Why has she made such a good transition to college at this point?
Well, since she committed here, she actually has improved a ton. So like her last year of high school, she just did outside things other than volleyball. So like her strength training, her nutrition, just like the full body athlete, I think developed her a lot to just be in a position where she's able to compete. And then, half of the things of volleyball, yes, you need to be skillful, but like you and your setter have to have a good connection. You want to be available. You need to be honestly liked. Like, so, some stuff like that relationship piece plays a huge role into just getting set the ball and being able to like figure out how to score, and she's just been very open. She's been very willing to learn, coachable, and you kind of just want that for her. So, yeah, she's done a great job preparing herself for right now.
So let's go to the pin players. Mackenzie Jones is back. She played a reasonable amount as a freshman. My understanding is she's having a really good sophomore fall. Also sophomores Olivia Cohey and Jenna Cubbage will play on the left. And then, as you mentioned, Eleanor Engel and Janiyah Whitekemper. Am I saying that right? Mm-hmm. Yes, Whitekemper. They are practicing on the right after playing in the middle last season. What should fans know about this group? Ashleigh, I'll let you take first swing at that.
Well, a lot of those sophomores are part of a very talented recruiting class that we foresaw definitely impacting our lineup. And so I think, they've made a lot of improvements, and they should, based on athleticism and talent and skill, they should make a dent in the conference. They're certainly capable. Mackenzie is just kind of a freak of an athlete, like Lambo said yesterday. He thinks she should be in the NFL. Cohey is very, very skilled. Jenna is kind of a balance of both, really. She's just very ballsy in how she approaches the game, which is really fun to watch. Janiyah has come a long way, and she's doing some great things. Eleanor, it's kind of like how did nobody think to put her on the right before this? Because she's done a great job, and she kind of is a high ball hitter. And, even people like Danny. Danny's very physical. She should be making a dent. It really should be almost a revolving door of, we don't even know who to put out there because we've just got all these arms that are capable of scoring.
And Danielle Moore, that's who you were referring to, redshirted last year as a freshman.
Yeah, so definitely potential there, and we need them to do it, but they're great humans, good teammates, super coachable. They want to do what's asked of them, and they all have kind of a different wheelhouse. So as long as they're operating in that wheelhouse, I think things will look good for us.
Katie, what are the biggest challenges for those two that are moving from the middle to the right? How's the game different over there for them?
Slowing down. Generally middles, you don't have time to slow down ever. You're just transitioning, getting up, trying to be open. On the right, being able to, yes, hit the fastballs, which is great because we need, tempo and stuff, but they also have to be able to hit the scramble, like out of system balls, like off of a bad pass. So I think that's the largest challenge. When you don't have those reps, you're not used to the same like high ball contact, but they've both done a great job of trying to, manage their errors, because that's normally the hardest thing, but also can be played to a strength. You don't only have to set high balls. We can go fast, then we can go slow, and they can kind of hit different things. Should be a little more difficult to defend.
Saturday is Lambeau night versus Idaho State. That's the return.
Is this the fanny pack night?
This is the fanny pack night. And I have questions about the fanny pack.
Yes.
So Sean Carter and Chelsea Scott, former Shocker assistants, are now coaching at Idaho State. WSU is giving away fanny packs. I don't think of Chris Lamb as a fanny pack person.
Oh, well.
Did I miss this? Is he a fanny pack person?
He is now. Yeah.
he found this bag that it was like 2 years ago, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I
when we went to Brazil, he took it.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, but now he doesn't go anywhere without it. I mean, and he freaks out if he doesn't know where it is. But the ironic thing is, like, we'll need things like, do you have gum? Do you have
a pen?
It's not in a pen. It's not in the fanny pack. So some of the time it's like, what is in there? And why is it important?
I mean, there's tape.
Yeah, there's athletic
white
tape.
out.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes valuable. There's also
random pieces of gum.
One of those like rolling balls to like roll your spine out. I feel like you had one of those in there. Things that aren't like on the normal purse for a woman, but it definitely gets large, and he'll attach his water bottle or sometimes his shoes. It's a whole. It's like it's his backpack, but it's on
his hip.
It's much larger than like the average fanny pack.
Yeah.
So
it's a merce.
Kudos to Creative and Promotions for making that his
because that's brilliant.
Yeah. And on Sean and Chelsea coming back, that's so fun. I feel like he keeps saying like his brother and sister are coming home, which is so sweet. And yeah, they deserve to be recognized, and like they put so much time and effort and love like into Shocker Volleyball. So I hope people come out and support and like cheer for them when they announce them, and then after the game. But yeah, they're great. It'll be fun to see them.
Okay, I work in the same building with Chris Lamb. I don't know how. I don't know anything about this fanny pack. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
I would have thought maybe change your oil or remodel your basement would have been better contest or better tribute to Chris Lamb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't put him in a box.
That's true. There is a lot. There is definitely a lot. Ashleigh, last concert you saw. We're switching gears from volleyball.
Oh my gosh.
Last concert.
Probably Zach Bryan, I feel like. Is that the last one you went to?
I went to the Jonas Brothers in the spring.
Yeah, you did.
It was great.
Yeah,
Joe Bros for
I think
life.
it was Zach Bryan. It was a while ago.
We went to the Backstreet Boys. That was a while ago.
Yeah, but that was like so amazing. We were supposed to go to Shania Twain, but
I was sick.
Yeah.
Okay, so Katie, your last one was Jonas Brothers?
The Jonas Brothers, yeah, it was great.
Okay, good stuff. Ashleigh, book, TV show, movie, podcast, what would you recommend people check out?
Oh my gosh. Well, Jordan Heatherly and we are big into Bravo shows like the Real Housewives specifically, so love that. I also listen to a lot of podcasts when I like run and stuff. Some of them are true crime, but there's one called Against the Odds that I just love. Has like some crazy wild stories about people that survived shark attacks.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
You're much more cultured than I am.
Against the Odds.
It's a cool one.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good way to waste time and forget what you're doing.
Okay, Katie, what are your pop culture references that people should check out?
Ted Lasso, the new season is coming out. I have watched some of those. I tend to rewatch the same things. I'm currently in a very, how do I survive parenting phase, so my podcasts and books are not that thrilling, but Ted Lasso, yeah, I love Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso on Apple TV, Wichita State connection that we're very proud of.
Yes.
I kind of forget that.
Shocker Volleyball this weekend, Friday, Saturday, 6 p.m. both nights, noon on Sunday. They play Stephen F. Austin, Idaho State, and Missouri State. Ashleigh and Katie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Paul.
for listening to the Roundhouse podcast, courtesy of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. We encourage you to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more Roundhouse content at GoShockers.com.